Well, hello everyone, hello again. This is a continuation of the previous video where I was patching with only what's in this case, plus mixing in the NLC cluster, using microburst for delay and reverb type effects, and my control box down here to control, basically to bring parts in as we go. And I figure that if I was ever to play out somewhere, I'd have a mixer and effects, because that other small case with the big red matrix mixer in it has also got the dub delay and the DSP, so I would have mixing and effects. And I would probably bring my little control box with me as well. So I have allowed myself to use them as part of this experiment. Last time I said I was going to move some modules around, and I did that. Mutable warps is here, and I put the QCD over in this case with grids. I swapped the Bastel Tromsø for the Bastel Dynamo, and it is currently listening to the mix output of Multicasa, and its envelope follower is controlling the resonance of the comb filter, which Multicasa is going through. I think the comb makes the Multicasa sound better. What else? Oh, I also took out the Felix because I realized I didn't actually need it in here, and I put in the A185-2 precision adder, thinking I have all of these sequencers, it would be nice to precisely add them. Also, because when nothing is patched into those jacks, there's a precise 1 volt normaled to all of them, and there is this plus and minus switch. You throw that switch, you add a volt, or you can subtract a volt, which makes them function as basically as octave switches if nothing's plugged in. And it's also a convenient way to get rid of the 2 volt or 4 volt positive offset that they put into cells, which that I don't agree with that offset. I think it's unnecessary. I think it's annoying because then I have to work around it to get rid of it. But cells is otherwise very clever and useful enough to keep and have around, though I'm not using it at the moment. We are hearing, of course, the Multicasa, as I said, running through comb. And what I did when I started, I turned all of the dividers all the way up. And I don't remember exactly what the slowest division is, but it's pretty slow. And then I gradually turned them down, which makes them faster, until I arrived at a pattern that sounded good to me. And if there's interest, maybe in a future video I'll show y'all that process if you want to see it. Next, that is noise from the mod tools going through the filter cutoff being controlled by an output from Dynamo. I'm taking one of the trigger mix outputs and feeding it into function to create a kind of an LFO that I'm using to control the decay time on that envelope. Next up, I've got the channel 1 output going into warps, which is in multiply mode, multiplying that signal with its internal oscillator, which is currently a sine wave, and that's receiving pitch CV that is a combination in the adder of sequence 8 and penta, which are being clocked by different divisions of Multicasa's master clock. It's kind of hard to hear the pitch sequence because the multiplication makes that a little atonal. The 4MS ensemble over here is receiving the same CV, because another cool thing about this precision adder is that it's got a buffered mult at the bottom, so you have 3 copies of the output, and then you also have an inverted one if you want to use that. There's the bass output of the ensemble. I am modulating the twist and the warp with 2 LFOs like I was before, and that is going through the bottom half of the LXD, being controlled by a descent envelope triggered by the XOR combinations of clock divisions. My standard MO. And here's the chord section of ensemble. Last but not least, I have microburst on my planar joystick, and I can fade it in. And that brings the mix to life, I think. I feel like it needs a melody to come in, and then I need a transition to something else. Something else has to happen. That's the next challenge. Well, that's been the challenge for a while. I can set up these things and play an interesting groove, but how long does that stay interesting? Something else has to happen. So I still have to work on that. But anyway, there is this sitting here, these USB power outs, and the idea there is that I've got like Bastel, Castel, and a couple of other USB powered contraptions that could be additional tone generators. And then of course there is the other one of these cases that's full of stuff that I don't have room to put up here on the desk, but I could drag this one down on the floor and pretend that I'm playing somewhere else. We could try that. But anyway, this is what I came up with this time. I hope you found it interesting. The Bandcamp and the Patreon and the Ko-fi are all still there. And thanks for watching. Catch you next time.